Bro, what is happening with the internet right now? Everyone is like either celebrating or apologizing for celebrating or not celebrating or getting mad at the people that are celebrating, or the people that are celebrating are losing their job.
So I was just fired from my job. My juice to water ratio in my daughter's sippy cup was wrong this morning, so she decided to let me go.
I just got out of an impromptu meeting with the vice president of Western Governors University, scheduled on my calendar 10 minutes after I arrived back from my midday break. No one else was scheduled on the meeting, besides Casey Clark, the vice president of Western Governors University. But then the HR representative showed up first, and we both sat there, and knowing that she's worked at the university for about a month. And then he showed up, and I said, it would have been great if we met each other under different circumstances, Casey. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna fire you, basically. And he said that even though Ohio is a one-party consent state, and I only showed the part of the conversation where I spoke during the prior meeting, that breached the policy for the university, which, if you ask me, sounds like illegal retaliation for calling out the president, Scott D. Pulsifer, for neo-Nazi sympathizing with Charlie Kirk. But I would love a pro bono lawyer to verify whether or not that's correct. And then he said, I celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. If me calling out who Charlie Kirk was, which was someone with neo-Nazi beliefs and statements, is celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, then so be it. Because that's who the he was. He was a neo-Nazi. And any organization that would fire me for calling a neo-Nazi is not an organization I want to work at. Now all WGU students, faculty, and staff will know that the president and vice president are both neo-Nazi sympathizers.
This girl was fired after being publicly doxxed and people calling into her work, letting her bosses know that she was celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. She mentioned that it got so bad that even some of her coworkers were being harassed, people calling the business, harassing them, harassing her, so they had to let her go. Now, since then, she posted a video online of her crying over her newly lost job and started a GoFundMe and made over $4,000 in 20 minutes. I don't know how much she's made now, but it really seems like the new Civil War is not what people thought it would be. It's people calling into people's work to get them fired, hoping that they can destroy them financially instead of physically.
Today, I've contacted over 700 different employers of people who've been celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder.
On one side, we have the right-wing police who are getting people fired for celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and we have crying liberals on the left.
And I'm not going to let this silence me, and I don't know what you MAGA losers thought you were going to get.
But what do you guys think about all this?
Yesterday I made a video that I was fired, and I have not yet apologized. I'm sorry that a lot of people didn't watch the full video. I am sorry that some people didn't understand that the video was poking fun at people who laughed at a horrible tragedy. And I'm sorry that this is the state of America right now, where people take in 2 seconds of information and then blast hate. So yeah, I'm not fired. I'm a stay-at-home mom. That was part of the joke. But I hope you have a good day, if you even watched to this part of the video. So, we'll see you.
What the f*** are you supposed to do when you get fired? You just take it? You just take it like a man? I'm unemployed. What am I supposed to do now? Do I go home and goon? Like, guys, what do I do? Like, actually, like, what do you do when you get fired? What's the next step? Do you look for, obviously you look for a job, but like, I got no income now. I spent my last $300 on a parking ticket. That was on me. I did let it sit a little bit. It was like a $30 parking ticket. It went up to $300. I really don't want to talk about it, but what am I supposed to do, guys? Oh my God. This, you know when they say like, oh, once you get to a point in adulthood where it's not enjoyable. I don't know who said adulthood was enjoyable. I'm just kind of, but like, what am my gas I haven't got enough for gas. Guys, oh my god. What am I... Is this what... I can't do this. I'm supposed to do this for the rest of my life? Like, I can't... What am I supposed to do, guys? Please, someone, put financial tips. Oh my god.
I was just fired from my job.
So I've lost my job. I got called into the office yesterday, and told me that they could either fire me or I could put a resignation in, but that would look better. But they fired me, or they're getting rid of me because of my TikTok. Somebody screenshot a lot of my TikToks.
Fired from my job. I was just 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 fired from my job. Now I have nothing but this. I have nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. Ah! 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 Ah!
So there's a thin line between freedom of expression and hate. This is where so many people are debating online, trying to find a standpoint and trying to understand what is hate and what is exercising your right to speech. For the longest, we've been discussing that and we haven't found an answer yet. We haven't found a solution. Not even legal tools are coming in to help us debunk this. But hey, today we're looking at more videos of people losing it after they find out that they have been fired. If you've been following through the videos, you can be able to filter out what is a skit and what we would deem as a real video. But it's real that people are losing jobs, thousands and thousands. There is even a job loss count on X right now. There are people who have dedicated their time on the internet to make other people get fired. Do I think that is the right thing? No, I think that people are using malicious intent sometimes to just get people fired, or sometimes it's just funny to make someone pay for something that you do not feel is right. But it's also double standard because you do not agree with this person, so you make this person lose their job because they So it's all fucked up. But if you look at the bigger picture, these people are actually celebrating the death of a person who died through a gruesome way. Like, it's uncalled for. You guys have seen the Charlie Kirk video. I don't want even to refresh my recollection on that. Really awful. So I want to go back to that lady who said that she was fired because she insinuated that Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, and also his entourage were all neo-Nazis. She claims that they were subscribing to neo-Nazi ideology and she called out, and it seems like the employer did not have it. She received her firing letter. After all, she thinks that working for such employer who subscribes to that ideology might not align with her beliefs, which is also right. Some people resign from jobs because they do not align themselves with their employer or what the employer believes. There's a lot of clips of people losing it. Look at that guy crashing out, man. Sometimes you around and you find out. Now, when you're recording the video and hate post on the internet and you know clearly that you're working for an organization that does not stand with what you post, or usually just fire people because of what they say on the internet, or they monitor your socials, then I mean, you did that for yourself, and sometimes this is a learning point. Maybe the next job you'll get, you'll not be able to post such things online, or maybe celebrate someone's passing on, which is not the right thing to do. We have a lot to debunk and try to understand why people are getting fired. And the biggest news, just as I was recording this video, or as I'm recording this video, I'm learning out that Jimmy Kimmel, yes, Jimmy Kimmel seems to have been fired. Yes, it's ABC. He was working for ABC. There was a monologue, a very controversial monologue he did the previous days, and people were speculating that it might be that monologue, which was talking about Charlie Kirk, and whatever he said in that monologue doesn't subscribe with maybe what the media house stands for, and maybe it was being cancelled for that, and they decided to not sync with Jimmy Kimmel and just release him or discharge him out of duty. We're gonna talk about that at the end of the video, so stick around. Let's listen to more people who are losing jobs and finding out that accountability has to be taken and they're not ready for it.
I just got fired without warning. I found out because I couldn't log on to Slack or Outlook, so that was really fun. I don't know who needs to hear this, but your boss is not your friend, ever, and you're not safe at your job. So you should cultivate backup options at all times, because capitalism sucks, and you're not safe, unfortunately. And I'm gonna be fine, but a lot of people in my position wouldn't be fine. So I just want this to be a warning to whoever's out there and is getting cozy at their job. don't.
They had lost their goddamn minds. Now, depending on how you reacted, doesn't matter. You could be completely neutral and it was not good enough, because why do you not have empathy? Why do you not have a soul? And your name is going to go on this website. And currently that website has 30,000 people on it and it continues to grow. The goal is for people to call your employer to get you fired. And that's exactly how I lost my job. And unfortunately, I work for a small company. And what we used to do was hand out deodorant to certain groups of people who believe that they don't have to shower or bathe every day and that they always walk around with dirty feet, because they love to walk barefoot. And because we are environmentally conscious, these were biodegradable deodorants. It did not contain plastic. So we understand that this group of people tend to miss the trash can. So in case they missed the trash can when they were finally done with the deodorant and it was ready to be disposed of, instead, it will just go to planet Earth to fertilize Mother Nature. You see, it's the whole circle of life all over again. But now that I lost my job, I will not be able to hand out deodorant. And so the world is going to be a stinkier place. And that's just sad. That really sucks.
A South Carolina teacher posted, "America became greater today after Charlie Kirk was killed. Tonight he's out of a job and Congress is demanding answers." I'm going to show you what happened, who stepped up, and what this means for our kids in the classrooms. Y'all like the video right here. Follow for more updates. Let's get into this one. So after outrage online, Greenville County Schools confirmed the teacher is no longer employed. The post was tied to a Southside High educator identified by lawmakers as Wayne Bullock. Rep. William Timmons called the behavior vile and said teachers who glorify political violence should be nowhere near students. He later posted, "Radical politics in the classroom ends here." This is not a debate about policy. It was a celebration of a killing. That crosses a line for every parent, left or right. Even blue state outlets are covering teacher backlash nationwide after what happened to Charlie Kirk. When the story breaks this wide, school districts move fast because voters are watching. Republicans condemn the rhetoric and pushed accountability. At the same time, Democrats who talked about healing need to police their own ranks when violence is cheered online. You're seeing a realignment here. Parents demanding apolitical classrooms, safety and respect, and that is a winning message. Rep. Nancy Mace also announced a resolution to allow Charlie Kirk to lie in honor in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, subject to his family's wishes. That frames Charlie Kirk's legacy in stark contrast to the teacher's post. Classrooms must be safe from political extremism, accountability for adults, protection for students, and respect for life. Parents, get involved now. This is your wake-up call.
We live in an America of cancel culture, and it is the cancel culture on the right now that is leading the charge. And the hypocrisy, I've been writing something about this. The hypocrisy on the right about free speech is, it's off the charts. Because think about it. If you actually believed in what Charlie Kirk said he believed in, didn't quite practice all the time, is free speech, then why are you out to cancel people who are using their First Amendment right of free speech to tell you how they feel about Charlie Kirk by using his own words? It doesn't make sense because Charlie Kirk didn't make sense, and so the response is irrational. So they're trying to, all these people are Nancy Mace and Megyn Kelly and all these people, they can't figure out how they want to respond. Is he a crazy loony left liberal? Is he some sort of incel? Is he a furry? Is he whatever? Like they're spinning, trying to, how do we make this make sense? You can't, because it doesn't make sense. Because this is a myth. You're trying to build a myth on a myth. The things that came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth were much of it was hurtful, discriminatory, ignorant, and I'll stop there, to say the least.
It isn't cancel culture if you got fired from your job for publicly celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. I am very against cancel culture, but cancel culture is when someone gets fired for a harmless joke they made on Twitter 10 years ago. Cancel culture is not getting fired because you publicly celebrated political terrorism. And that is what you are celebrating when you celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk. Terrorism is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, for political aims. And any normal employer, coworker, customer wants to know if someone they're dealing with supports political terrorism, because when you publicly support something that is so evil, you immediately become a threat to the safety of everyone around you. There are certain things in our society that we cannot permit if we are to continue living in a society with free speech, and political terrorism is one of those things that we cannot tolerate. Because if you can be killed for simply disagreeing with someone, then we no longer have a free country.
I'll be damned if I see another person that got fired from their job for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death come and bitch about the fact that they lost their job, as if Charlie Kirk didn't lose his life for his opinion. Are we for real? Losing your job is nothing compared to what Charlie lost. Lose your pig meat. What I really want you to see is the fact that you don't think you should lose your job over the opinions that you have. Spit it out! Yet you think it's okay for Charlie to die over the opinions he had. What? You people are living contradictions. You can always get a better job. You can always fix yourself, heal yourself, change your opinion, do whatever because you're alive. You are spitting. There's no more mistakes Charlie Kirk can make. He can't change his mind on any opinions that you might have thought he was wrong about because his life was ended. All of y'all were saying, oh my God, it's karma, that's why he got shot. You don't think you've accumulated any bad karma after you celebrated someone dying? Y'all are tweaking. Hopefully the love of Jesus Christ heals that heart of yours.
We've listened to a lot of speakers today, a lot of them, and different opinions from progressives, from the right, from the moderates, and we've come to a conclusion to say that we still don't have a clear cut between free speech and hate speech. Also, what is considered as exercising your First Amendment, and the fact that the Second Amendment led to us doubting our First Amendment is just crazy enough to think about it. First of all, I want to talk about the position of trust and how people in the position of trust should not be acting radical. And from the position of trust, I'm talking about having teachers, nurses, doctors, pilots, military guys. These are all people just taking stance on matters like this. Let me tell you, if an event happens, I don't think it's necessary for you to obviously just go onto the internet and speak your mind about things. You know what happens at that moment? You might even have not thought through what would happen after you speak, or after you utter, or after you express what you feel. You just don't know what would happen after that, or you don't even know what would happen, like let's say hours after you say that. Would your opinion change? Would events that happen there be debunked, and you having a clear understanding of that event, and then maybe that would change your mind? And would it make that something that you said previously be some sort of a joke, and you feeling that urge of pulling it down? Maybe at that point damage would have already been made. Like, there is a lot to consider. I think every time something happens, it's wise for you to sit back, listen, and watch how things unfold until you find a standpoint where you can now express your opinion. I was listening yesterday to some podcast, and I learned that there was a teacher who was fired because of showing that Charlie Kirk video to the kids, and these kids were minors, very little kids. If a teacher does that, this person has been trusted to take care of kids, very young kids. We all agree that video was graphic, right? Imagine a kid, a young kid, let's say less than 13, 14 years, looking at that video. Do you think showing a kid that video is doing a world of good? So sometimes you look at people doing some stupid acts, and then them coming and crying that they have been fired because they expressed their freedom of speech. It's just uncalled for. Someone in the military celebrating assassination, and them themselves are in a position of protecting people. It just doesn't make sense. People losing jobs because of the posts online, acting like they don't know that when you post something online, they usually check that. When you are applying for a job, obviously you let us know your social media handles. Why do you think employers ask for your social media handles? It's because they want to look at things like this. Anytime you post something that is against their policies, you're gonna be laid off, you're gonna be fired. So I don't think you coming and crying to us and you yourself inflicted that thing onto yourself is the right thing to do. I think the right thing for people to do is taking accountability. Accountability is all that matters. Some people also say that why did Charlie Kirk enjoy the freedom of speech, and then when the people also try to use that freedom of speech, they are being cancelled or they're being called people who are spreading hate speech online. First of all, let us say Charlie Kirk did not enjoy freedom of speech entirely. This person was pupilled while exercising that freedom of speech. That means he was suppressed. He was murdered because of his opinion, because of the speech he was giving. So you can't say that he enjoyed the freedom of speech. Yes, he enjoyed, not entirely. Also, we need to learn that freedom of expression or freedom of speech has its limitation, has its consequences. There are things that you can do or say that can lead to criminal charges, can lead to defamation, civil lawsuits, criminal lawsuits. There are limits that you can say anything wherever you want, whenever you want. No, you can't say that. If we could say that anything you say is freedom of speech, then how would we define hate speech? How would we do that? So you have to ask yourself that. And I think it's high time for people to take accountability and just know that some things you say online might lead to some consequences, and when these consequences happen, let's learn from it. Let's not be bitter. This is not the end of it all. We've lost this job today. There are more jobs you might find. Obviously, scrap off social media. Just delete social media. Imagine going to the next job, doing an interview, ask you socials, they find that you are fired because of that. Is that even doing yourself a good? I don't think so. Also, I've learned the case of Jimmy Kimmel. Or Jimmy, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Jimmy Kimmel. That one, ABC host, that controversial monologue, man. I knew somehow that would bring problems. And that's just another example of what you say. You need to be careful of what you say on social media or online or at workplaces. I really do think if he had said maybe in his wherever you'd have handled maybe cancelling. I think the media also, they were receiving backlash and they had to sacrifice this incredible host. Wow, so many people are losing jobs. I think people should be careful what they post online when you're working somewhere. Unless you do not have a job, you can be free to do whatever you want. But if you are having a job or having a position of trust, avoid social media, avoid expressing these things. I know the world is unfair, but just avoid for the sake of your bills that you want to pay, that you are crying. But well, guys, that's just what I do think about this whole subject today. I don't know what you do feel. I know some of you would disagree with me. Please do so respectfully in the comment section down there below. I'll be really longing for your thoughts and opinions, and they will be really insightful. Also, don't forget to go and check the original creators. Their usernames have been embedded in the Stitch videos. As always, go on to their TikToks, follow, like the videos. For this video, make sure you smash a huge thumbs up button. Consider subscribing, turn on post notifications so that you may not miss my next upload. And with that, guys, let me meet you in the next one. Peace out.